And Shedeur's draft stock, where he ends up, it's one of the biggest mysteries going into this draft. I also saw your latest mock this morning, which reflected what I've heard too, which is that as much as, again, we can argue about the value and where they would have been in other classes, but I would not be shocked if Jalen Milroe ends up going in the first round. I would not be shocked if Jaxson Dart goes in the first. Tyler Shuck is even the other one who, hypothetically, I think it's harder, the 7 years and the injuries and everything else, but he's done really well in the pre-draft process here. When you look at that next tier, how are you stacking those guys?
I've got Jaxson Dart just slightly ahead of Shedeur, and I think it's more of just the physical traits and what he can be, and I think it's more appealing to a multitude of NFL teams compared to, like, for Shedeur to have success, it's got to be with in the kind of like precision-based offensive attack. That's why I like in this mock draft, I had Cleveland trading back up into the first round of pick 15. And we could dive more into the mechanics of all of that. But I just look at it from a football perspective. And whether I have Shedeur rated as QB2 or Dart as QB2, when you sit down and start looking at what could happen draft night, well, you have better context than I do, and this is your lane. But when I talk to people in the league, like, I'm not getting any sense that Shedeur's going 2 or 3 to Cleveland or the Giants. I also feel pretty strongly that he's not going to go to the Jets at 7. I think it's very unlikely that he goes to the Raiders at 6. So now all of a sudden you look at the top 10 and you say, all right, the Saints. That's the landing spot. QB2 could be the Saints. And then I look at the history with Kellen Moore. He's been the offensive coordinator the last 3 spots, right? Dak Prescott, Justin Herbert, and Jalen Hurts. The NFL comp, if you talk to a lot of people in the league, for Jaxson Dart is Jalen Hurts. And they're all kind of sturdy build, stronger arms, and mobile. And that's like the opposite of what Shedeur is, and it's exactly what Jaxson Dart is. And then you look at the pro days, and Kellen Moore didn't, as a first-year head coach, time is valuable. He's got a lot of things he's got to put in place. He didn't travel out to the Colorado Showcase. And I know it's one state over, but it's still a 6-hour drive, or getting on a plane. He went to Jaxson Dart's. So I start putting all these pieces together, and I just think it's if New Orleans goes quarterback at 9, I'll be shocked if it's not Dart. Let's put it that way. And now all of a sudden we're at pick 10, and Shedeur Sanders and the media circus that surrounds Coach Prime and his son and Travis and the whole program. Like, this is going to be a fascinating night. So 21's the next team that you can pinpoint, as you well know, that needs a quarterback. There's been some minor buzz about Miami at 13. I'm not sure about that. So then if Cleveland were to try to go move up, because Stefanski's a perfect fit when you talk about what he's worked with in the past, precision-based quarterbacks. What was it? McCown, I think, and Kirk Cousins, obviously winning like 11 and 10 games. He's worked with these guys. He's had success. That's his system. He doesn't need the big arm quarterback. He doesn't need the overly mobile quarterback. And so I think it would be a perfect fit between Stefanski and Shedeur, but you got to get it at the right value. I can't give up next year's 1, because if I liked him that much,
take him at 2.
I would have just take him at 2.
Right.
So some kind of deal. They've got 5 picks in the top 104. And if you maybe mortgage away a second or third next year with 1 or 2 picks from this year, move up. I put him in Atlanta at 15, because Atlanta only has, I believe, 5 picks in the entire draft this year. So I truly believe Cleveland's second pick will be a quarterback. And I would be surprised at this point, looking at all the private workouts they've had with all these guys leading up to the draft in this short window of time. I actually think that it's more likely than not that they wind up moving back into the first round to accomplish that goal.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.